A group of hunters were sitting silently in the woods when a gunshot suddenly came dangerously close to hitting one of them. A trail camera captured a deer walking through the darkness with an injury so severe it almost didn't look real. A snowmobile trip through the mountains turned into chaos when an avalanche broke loose without warning. And deep in the wilderness, a normal fishing trip became terrifying when a strange man with a machete kept appearing near the creek. These are moments where ordinary outdoor trips turned into something far more disturbing, and once the cameras were recording, the people involved had no choice but to face whatever was out there. Let's dive straight into it. On April 15, 2017, a truly disturbing piece of hunting footage was uploaded to YouTube by a channel called Roderick Outdoors. In the video, the uploader is out turkey hunting with two of his friends, set up in a wooded area where visibility is limited and awareness of your surroundings is everything. At the start, everything appears completely normal. They're fully camouflaged, sitting still, blending into their environment the way experienced hunters do. Their focus is entirely on the hunt, scanning the area carefully, listening for movement, and staying as quiet as possible. It's the kind of situation that requires patience and control, where nothing seems out of place. But what makes this footage so unsettling is how quickly that sense of normality disappears. There's no warning, no buildup, just a sudden shift from calm to chaos that happens in an instant. And in situations like this, there's no time to process what's happening until it's already over. Out of nowhere, a gunshot rings out, breaking the silence in a way that immediately signals something has gone very wrong. One of his friends is nearly hit, so close that he initially believes the bullet actually struck him. The reaction is instant, all three of them jumping up in shock, trying to understand where the shot came from and how it happened. You can hear the confusion and fear in their voices as they look around, realizing that this wasn't just a distant shot, but something that passed dangerously close to them. In that moment, the situation shifts from a controlled hunting environment to something completely unpredictable, where the danger isn't the wildlife they were tracking, but another person they couldn't even see. Luckily, no one was injured, but the reality of how close that bullet came is hard to ignore. If it had been even slightly off, if the angle had changed just a little, there's a real possibility that someone wouldn't have made it out of that area. What makes this clip so unsettling isn't just the shot itself, but how unexpected it is. There's no buildup, no indication that something like this is about to happen. It's a sudden reminder that in environments like this, danger isn't always obvious or visible. Sometimes it's already there, just out of sight, and by the time you realize it, you're already in it. And that's what makes this moment stick. Because even though nothing ultimately happened, it very easily could have ended in a completely different way. And if you thought that was unsettling, this next clip takes it in a completely different direction. Head back to January 18, 2018, when a disturbing video was uploaded to a YouTube channel run by the Utah Avalanche Center. In the footage, a group of riders are out enjoying the slopes in Providence Canyon near Logan, moving through the mountains on their snowmobiles with the kind of confidence that comes from good weather and experience. At first, everything about the scene feels relaxed. They're cruising across the snow, laughing, talking, and enjoying the moment without any visible concern. The conditions appear ideal, with clear visibility and terrain that doesn't immediately seem dangerous. It's the kind of setting where you feel in control, where nothing suggests that anything is about to go wrong. But what makes this footage so unsettling is how quickly that sense of safety disappears, because in environments like this, stability can be misleading, and when it shifts, it happens fast.
You alright? What hurts?
Out of nowhere, an avalanche breaks loose, instantly turning a calm ride into a chaotic and dangerous situation. The sound alone signals how serious it is, and within seconds, the riders are forced to react. Two of them attempt to outrun the moving snow, pushing their machines forward as fast as possible in a desperate attempt to escape. One rider manages to stay ahead of it, barely keeping enough distance to make it out safely. The other isn't as fortunate. He's thrown off his snowmobile and gets caught at the tail end of the slide, pulled into the shifting snow with very little control over what's happening. For a moment, it's unclear how bad the situation is, and that uncertainty makes the entire clip even more intense. But luckily, he manages to stumble back into view, visibly shaken and injured, but still able to move. And while that might seem like a relief, it doesn't change how close this came to something far worse. What makes this video so impactful isn't just the avalanche itself, but how normal everything looked right before it happened. There were no obvious signs, no clear warning, just a sudden shift from safety to danger in a matter of seconds. It's a chilling reminder that in places like this, conditions can appear perfect right up until the moment they aren't. And sometimes, the only thing separating a close call from a tragedy is timing, positioning, and a small amount of luck. It showed us how fast things can go wrong. The next clip, however, shows how long it can take before it escalates. On April 23, 2016, one of the most unsettling hunting videos I've ever seen was uploaded to YouTube by a channel called Huge Nuge Outdoor Adventures, a channel known for documenting outdoor trips and hunting experiences. In this particular video, the creator is positioned high up in a tree somewhere deep in North America, surrounded by dense forest with very little sound besides the occasional movement of nature in the distance. At first, everything about the situation feels completely routine. It's the kind of quiet, controlled environment that experienced hunters are used to, where patience is key and nothing seems out of the ordinary. But there's also a subtle tension in the atmosphere, the kind that's hard to explain but immediately noticeable when something doesn't feel quite right. And within minutes, that feeling turns into something much more serious, as what starts off as a normal hunt quickly becomes a situation that most hunters would never want to find themselves in. Take a look. From the very first frame, there's already something off about the scene. The bear is on the ground, not moving through the area or searching for food, but simply there, almost as if it had been waiting. Up in the tree, the hunter freezes completely, barely moving as his attention locks onto the animal below. Every movement becomes calculated. every second stretched out as he tries not to make a sound. Then the moment comes when the brown color phase bear catches his scent, and the shift is immediate. You can see it in the bear's body language, the way it reacts, and the entire tone of the situation changes instantly. What had been a calm and controlled environment is suddenly unpredictable, and from that point on, every decision matters. What follows is the kind of encounter that most hunters never get the chance to talk about afterward.
Hey bear. Hey bear. Down bear. Get down. Down.
What makes this encounter even more unsettling is that the bear doesn't immediately charge or panic. Instead, it slowly backs up, creating a moment of uncertainty that feels even more dangerous than a direct reaction. There's something about the hesitation that makes it clear the animal is thinking, assessing the situation rather than simply reacting to it. At the same time, what stands out the most when watching this footage back is how calm the hunter's voice remains throughout the entire encounter. There's no panic, no sudden movements, just a steady attempt to stay in control of a situation that could turn at any second. But that calmness only highlights how fragile the moment really is, because it only takes one wrong move, one sudden change in the bear's behavior for everything to escalate beyond control. Out in an environment like this, there's no immediate help, no backup, and no easy way out. It's just the hunter, the distance between him and the ground, and the animal below. And it serves as a disturbing reminder that even when you think you've put yourself in a safe position, especially high up in the trees, you're never completely out of reach. Sometimes the only reason a situation like this doesn't end in tragedy is because the animal decides not to take it any further. That situation could have escalated at any moment, but in this next clip, it actually does. Newfoundland Outsider is an Alaska-based YouTuber who spends most of his time documenting life in extreme outdoor conditions, often traveling through remote areas where preparation and awareness are essential. In this particular video, he's out in the middle of winter, navigating through deep snow on his snowmobile while transporting supplies to his off-grid cabin. It's the kind of journey he's likely done many times before, a short and necessary trip through a familiar route, surrounded by nothing but snow-covered terrain and complete isolation. In an environment like this, everything depends on things going as expected, because once something goes wrong, there aren't many options. At first, the trip seems routine, with no indication that anything unusual is about to happen. But in a setting like this, it doesn't take much for a normal situation to turn into something far more dangerous, and that's exactly what ends up happening.
So there's a moose on the pass here. Looks like he's got his right hind leg hurt. Little 4-point bull. Hey buddy, we're just trying to get past. Oh, I feel sorry for him. He's got a long winter yet. Move off to the path a bit so I can get by. Poor thing. Although he looks fat, he's doing good. Looks like his hip is bad. He's got little antlers and I'm surprised you haven't dropped them yet. Well, the moose got a standoff. He's not getting off the road. He's taking a stance. I'm going to have to wait for a while and let him do what he's going to do, go down the road and get off in the trees. In the meantime, I'll just wait here. Go on, buddy.
At some point along the trail, an injured moose appears directly in his path. It's not moving away, not retreating into the distance, but standing right where he needs to go. And because this route is the only way to reach the cabin, turning around isn't really an option. Outsider is left with the decision, and the safest choice at that moment seems to be stopping and waiting for the animal to move on its own. It's a reasonable approach, especially with wildlife, where keeping distance is usually the best way to avoid escalation. But what makes this situation so tense is the condition of the moose itself. An injured animal is unpredictable, far more likely to react aggressively, and far less likely to behave in a way you can anticipate. And even though waiting seems like the right decision, it's also what puts him directly in the animal's awareness.
He's not going anywhere. He's just taking a stance. I had a bull license all fall. Never did get my bull. Saw lots of cows, lots of calves. Now I come across this bull 2 weeks later, after the season is closed, and he won't get off the trail. Let's go for a walk back here. Maybe he'll get off the trail. Check my load. Well, it's been a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, and I'm still waiting for this bull to get off the path. I've tried everything, and I sat quietly behind him for half an hour. Nope, he's not moving. And see, he's still back there. He's still back there and he's not moving. Well, we're almost to the cabin. We just got another a kilometer to go. Not even. It's 0 degrees and it's starting to rain. This year's been crazy. Well, every year for the last 4 or 5 years have been crazy weather patterns. All our snowstorms are turning into rainstorms. Things are getting warmer and warmer. The ponds aren't freezing. And the moose won't get off the path. Okay, buddy, you gotta go. Go on now. Some action. Starting to go. Oh. I feel his pain in his leg. Oh my God. What a sin. If you go down just a little bit further, my turnoff is just down there, and then I can be out of his way and let him do what he's gonna do. So yeah, the weather's crazy. It's always raining. Up here we're about 1,000, 1,200 feet up, so it's a lot of snow up here. But down in Deer Lake and Corner Brook and Pasadena, hardly any snow. Not compared to what it used to be. Keep going. More. Keep going more. He went to the 50 yards and then stopped. Gotta get to the cabin, get the fire going. Get my clothes dried up and offload all this gear. Go on. Hurry up. Get down to the cabin. Go on. Hey! Hey! Fuck you do? Oh, knock my thing out.
Without much warning, the situation escalates as the moose suddenly charges toward him, closing the distance in seconds. In the process, it strikes his phone out of his hands with its legs, creating a moment of complete chaos where everything shifts from controlled to unpredictable. Despite how quickly it happens, Outsider manages to stay relatively calm, avoiding any sudden movements that could make things worse, and begins to slowly retreat, creating as much space as possible between himself and the animal. In a situation like this, panic would only make things more dangerous, and the way he handles it likely plays a huge role in how it ends. After a tense few moments, the moose eventually backs off, just as suddenly as it charged, finally moving away and clearing the path. But even though the encounter ends without further escalation, it leaves behind a clear sense of how close it came to turning into something much worse. What makes this moment so unsettling is how quickly it shifts from routine to dangerous, especially in an environment where there's no immediate help if something goes wrong. In a remote Alaskan winter, distance and isolation become just as much of a threat as the situation itself. And if the moose hadn't stopped when it did, if it had continued its charge or reacted more aggressively, the outcome could have been very different. That situation ended as quickly as it started. The next one, however, lingers in a way that feels off the entire time. On January 6, 2021, a video was uploaded to YouTube by a channel called Patent Rock, which follows an experienced trapper named John Owens as he documents his work out in the field. This isn't someone unfamiliar with wildlife or dangerous situations, but someone who has spent years dealing with animals in unpredictable environments. In this particular video, John has a bobcat caught in a trap and needs to release it by himself. Situations like this are always risky, but for someone with his level of experience, it's typically manageable and follows a fairly predictable pattern. However, it quickly becomes clear that this situation isn't going to follow that pattern at all.
All right, John Owens here. The year is 2020. I got a decent bobcat in a trap, but unfortunately, though two of my kids have tags, they're not with me today. So we're going to get the bobcat out of the trap and we'll try to fill those tags at a later date. All right, hold still, buddy. Come on. Hold on, buddy. Holy. He got me a little there. I was due for a cut. Hold on, buddy, hold on. It's those back legs you gotta watch out for. Oh, sucker. All right, hold tight now, hold on. Come on. Act right. Here we go.
From the beginning, the bobcat is visibly agitated, with tense movements and a constant focus on John as he approaches. He carefully works to free the animal, trying to minimize risk while still getting close enough to remove the trap. During the process, he takes a few scratches, which isn't entirely unexpected given the circumstances, but he continues working until he finally manages to release it. Normally, this is the moment where the animal immediately runs off, putting as much distance as possible between itself and the person who had it restrained. That's the expected outcome, and it's what makes these situations somewhat predictable. But instead of running, the bobcat stays exactly where it is.
Just a little nick that time, nothing too bad.
Right.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. He might take off with that a little ways, but I will get it back once he realizes he's free. That's a first right there. He's free, he just doesn't realize it yet. Okay. I guess it's better that than my hand. I'm going to throw a stick at him and see if I can get him to realize he's not caught anymore. All right, go on and get.
Rather than fleeing, the animal remains in place, completely focused on John as he steps back. There's no sign of fear or hesitation in the way it watches him, and despite his attempts to scare it off by raising his voice and even throwing a stick in its direction, it refuses to move. At this point, the situation shifts from unusual to genuinely uncomfortable, because this isn't behavior that experienced trappers typically encounter. The lack of reaction, the stillness, and the continued focus all suggest that something about this interaction is different from what it should be.
Get. They get like this sometimes. Wish I knew where he went. He was waiting by the vehicle. There he goes. He wants a piece of me, man. All right, I think he's gone now. I don't know, man. I let wolves go and stuff like that, but bobcats are by far the worst. They hold a grudge.
The bobcat continues to stay in place, and it isn't until John turns and begins walking back toward his Jeep that things escalate further. Instead of remaining where it was, the animal begins to follow him, slowly closing the distance as he moves away. By the time he reaches the vehicle, it's clear from his voice that this isn't something he considers normal. Despite having dealt with larger and more traditionally dangerous animals like wolves and bears, he points out that bobcats behave differently. They don't always react immediately, and they don't always run when you expect them to. According to him, they observe, they take their time, and more importantly, they remember, which makes encounters like this far more unsettling than they might seem at first. One thing is for sure, that situation was unpredictable, but in the next clip, the risk comes from a single moment. On July 8, 2011, a group of friends were on the 5th day of their climb up Mount Ritter, making steady progress along the southeast glacier after days of effort and exposure to the elements. By that point, they would have already been dealing with fatigue, changing terrain, and the constant need to stay focused in an environment where mistakes can carry serious consequences. At first, everything about the conditions looks ideal. The skies are clear, visibility is excellent, and the snow appears stable underfoot, creating what most climbers would consider a near-perfect scenario. It's the kind of moment where things feel controlled, where the climb seems to be going exactly as planned. But one of the most dangerous aspects of mountain environments like this is how quickly that sense of control can disappear. It doesn't take much, just a single misstep, for the situation to shift completely. And in this case, that shift happens instantly. Take a look.
Arrest! Arrest! Arrest!
Good job, good job. Excellent job. Lock it in. Get your toes in there.
You're good. Just get your wits about you and you're going to walk out the low side. You're not walking back up the hill.
Right there?
Yes.
All right, get your video, man.
I did have it on video.
All right.
Concentrate on what you're doing here, Chief.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
First order of business is get my wits.
All right. That's good. Well, you only threw about...
Nice.
Out of nowhere, one of the climbers loses his footing and begins sliding down the glacier, quickly picking up speed as he moves across the icy surface. Almost immediately, his friends react, shouting for him to arrest, a command every mountaineer is trained to recognize. Self-arrest is one of the most critical skills in climbing, involving digging an ice axe and boots into the snow in an effort to stop a fall before it becomes uncontrollable. It's something climbers practice repeatedly, but in a real situation, especially one that happens this fast, executing it correctly under pressure is another challenge entirely. For a few tense seconds, it looks like he might not be able to stop himself. The slope, the speed, and the conditions are all working against him, and as he continues sliding, the situation becomes increasingly dangerous. But after roughly a 20-foot drop, he manages to dig in just enough to slow himself down and eventually bring himself to a complete stop. The relief in that moment is immediate, because everyone there understands how easily it could have gone differently. If he hadn't regained control at that exact moment, this could have ended in tragedy. On a glacier like that, once you lose control, there often isn't a second chance to recover. That day, everything worked in his favor when it needed to most. And it's the kind of moment that stays with you, not just because of what happened, but because of how close it came to something much worse. And that takes us to this last encounter, one that shows a situation that keeps getting worse the longer it goes on. On June 18th, 2022, YouTuber Fishing with Tate headed out to a local creek with a few friends, looking to spend the afternoon doing what they usually do: fishing, exploring, and just enjoying the outdoors. It's the kind of setting that feels familiar and relaxed, especially when you're out there with people you trust. At the start, everything about the day feels exactly how you'd expect. They're laughing, casting lines into the water, moving along the creek and taking in the surroundings. There's nothing unusual about it, nothing that suggests the day is going to turn into anything more than a normal outing. But as time passes, small things begin to stand out. Subtle at first, easy to ignore, but enough to create a feeling that something isn't quite right. And eventually, that feeling becomes impossible to ignore, as they start to realize that coming out here might not have been the best decision.
Last time we was out here, you guys didn't get to see the footage, but we actually had a guy with a machete come down here, and he was like hacking stuff away. And the one time we didn't have something on us. He wasn't very rude. We ended up having a conversation with him later, and he was a lot nicer than he was in the original conversation. But he basically just wanted us to make sure we took all our trash with us, which is fine. I completely respect that. What is this down here? There's something down here on a tree. I almost thought that was a dead body. I was like, oh God. I know audio is terrible. It always is here, but you kind of have to take the good with the bad. I don't know about you, but I about think Buddy was squeaking there, wasn't you? Yeah. Well, the creek's not happening today. I know the last few times we've been down here, there's been people down here fishing, so I don't know, do creeks get pressured? I guess so. Does it match with you? Mm-hmm. It's not. It's not very natural. Is that like a crossing, like don't cross? I don't know. We've got some company down in here. What? What's going on with this? I see another one. I'm gonna be. Oh, he's got one.
Oh gosh, John, you're pulling drag. What is that? Oh my, oh, John, that's a nice bass. That might be a keeper bass for the pond. Oh, son, that's a keeper bass for the pond.
Facts.
Is there any way we can keep that guy?
It's over 12 inches.
Yeah, I know, but what he fit in the promise.
If we had a bigger container, I would say yeah, 100%. We thought about keeping him for the pond, not for bait, obviously, but you know, just have something else in the pond. But I think we're gonna put him back. Let John come in clutch there with first catch. Well, it's not his first catch. He's actually caught like 4 trees. I wish we had a place like this to park the Grim Sleeper next to and just fish all day. I mean, camp. Would that not be ideal? We know our buddy come down through here, the guy that was wielding the machete that we talked about in the last video, I believe. Huh? No, I don't see him. Do you see him? Huh? He's down there? Yeah. Okay. Well, we're making our way to him. How's it going, buddy? Some more nice little holes down in here.
According to Tate, there had been a man roaming the area carrying a machete. They had actually crossed paths with him earlier, and while the interaction hadn't been openly aggressive, there was something off about him that stuck with them. It wasn't anything specific, just the way he acted, the way he carried himself, something that didn't feel normal. At first, they try to brush it off and continue with what they were doing, but then they start noticing him again, and again. Each time, he's at a distance, not approaching directly, but always somewhere nearby, moving through the same area of the creek, watching, reappearing, never fully leaving. It's the kind of situation where you start questioning whether it's a coincidence or if there's something more deliberate about it. And after seeing him multiple times, they decide to approach him, likely thinking it would be better to understand what was going on rather than keep guessing from a distance. It's a decision that, at the moment, probably felt reasonable. But it's also the moment where everything shifts, and what follows quickly turns into one of the strangest and most uncomfortable encounters they've experienced.
Buddy's 100% tweaking right now. Ah, got one. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, something a little different. What's up? This is some kind of something. Look at that. Getting a little color in the pool pond. Right there. Right there on that little, I forgot what that's called. Ooh, okay, he's in there. Really? What's that? As far as I need to go? Something wrong? What's that? Well, are you good?
I am, but yeah, y'all ain't just fish. But yeah, you don't want to come down through it.
Okay. We usually fish all the way down through there. Why not? I mean, what's that? Hung up.
I'll show you what.
Okay, sure.
I've lived here my whole life.
Okay.
There's certain things here, if you look close enough,
Yeah.
that is old.
Okay.
Probably before Roman Empire.
Okay.
You're not going to find nothing like fancy gold or anything like that. It's just, it's got my name on
Okay.
it, etched in the rock.
Okay.
But anyway, it's mine.
Okay.
And something else. I have discovered I gave away a city by a fire.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, I'm not trying to be a dick.
No, I got you.
This is just, you know,
Yeah.
my head.
I got you. We've fished down through there several times. If we were to find something,
Well, there's a lot more.
we don't want to take anything.
There's a lot more than, you know,
Like legit, all we want to do is fish. You know what I'm saying?
fish away, man. I'm sorry, dude. I mean, just fish away. I didn't mean to be a dick.
No.
But I have found some things here very, very good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we don't want anything. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, there's
And
nothing as far as, there's nothing illegal or nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
I discovered something that's lost.
Okay.
Something I stole a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I
Okay. Well, I mean, we're not here to find anything, so we're just trying to fish.
I live right up the road, man. I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
I had this, a year ago.
Yeah.
Somebody told me about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, there's a wall, rock wall.
Uh-huh.
Laid up.
Sure.
I mean, it's open. I'm just gonna knock it over now.
Yeah.
It's just so-
All right, man. Well, hey, we fish here quite often.
It's not fishing. It's just, I was in the moment.
Okay. Well, we don't want to come down here and, you know, start anything. So we're just trying to fish.
No, it's not no trouble. No, I don't do trouble.
Okay. Because we come down here quite a bit. So if you see us, we're not doing anything. We're just...
Right. It's just what I found, dude. I don't want to worry.
Okay. I got you, man. All right. Well, we're going to go back up here and fish a little bit, okay? All right. My God, it's squeaking hard.
Almost immediately, something feels off. There's no clear direction to what the man is saying, no consistency in his tone or behavior. He starts rambling about a lost city somewhere deeper along the creek, jumping between ideas that don't seem connected, speaking in a way that's difficult to follow. The longer the interaction goes on, the more unpredictable it feels. His tone shifts without warning, going from calm to intense and back again, while his body language doesn't match what he's saying. It creates this constant sense of uncertainty, where you can't tell if the situation is harmless or if it's on the edge of turning into something dangerous. And that uncertainty is what makes it so uncomfortable, because when someone is holding a machete and clearly not thinking in a stable or rational way, the margin for error becomes incredibly small. It only takes one sudden movement, one misunderstood word, for things to escalate.
I don't know how much that you guys heard on GoPro, but this guy is definitely tweaking hard, okay? He started out being a little hostile. What's the best way to describe me, Tanner? Hard-headed somewhat. The guy tells me not to come any closer. We probably shouldn't have anyway, because we could tell he's tweaking a little bit. That is the same guy that was down here with a machete. Probably what? 3 days ago? 4 days ago? I feel like he was kind of trying to intimidate us then. It didn't work. So we showed back up again. He comes down the mountain again. He doesn't have a machete this time that I know of. But that time we didn't have any protection. This time we do. Sad situation, honestly. It kind of sucks that's happening here because this is one of my favorite spots to fish. I'm gonna continue to fish this spot. Just sad situation, you know. I'm gonna fish it out a little bit more. Oh, fish on. Fish on. What's this? What is this?
What is it?
I don't know. What's bass? Oh, is this a keeper? Is this a keeper bass or no? This one's about right. That's a 12-incher, isn't it? There's another one.
I was going to grab it, but I couldn't board this much.
Yeah, I know. Why don't you take the easy way out, buddy? Why don't you build us a staircase up this way? So we fished down there at the, there's a guy down there. He is absolutely tweaking out. And he said that we didn't need to go any farther down the creek. And like, he was hearing voices and stuff. He's down there chilling on a rock. So, kind of hate to call the cops because we fish here a lot and I've seen him here multiple times. And so it's gonna be one of those deals when he sees us again, it's like, oh, you guys call the cops. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if you want to go down and check it out or if you just want to keep it in mind and maybe...
If he's down there tweaking, I go down and take him to it.
He's tweaking.
All right, I'm gonna call from him.
Okay, it's probably. He didn't look like.
I know who
he does have a machete that he wields a lot. So.
He's called me down here before.
Okay. Okay, I got you. I got you. All right, thank you.
All right. I'm going I kind of feel bad because we towed on.
You know, I feel bad too.
But I mean,
literally, as we was backing out there to do like a little outro before we go back home, the fish and wildlife or whatever goes by us.
So it's like,
and then like we turn and like hesitate, we don't even wave at him, and then like he puts it in reverse and backs up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just took that as fate because other people are gonna be fishing down there, and you know, I thought about bringing my kid down here, you know, because you're gonna catch fish down there. So, and I really didn't want to especially after last time I saw him with a machete. I mean, I'm not bringing her down.
In the end, they managed to leave without anything turning physical, but the situation doesn't just end there. Tate later reports the encounter to a local trooper, not necessarily because something happened, but because of what could have happened. And that's really what makes the whole situation stick with you. It's not just the interaction itself, but the potential behind it. The fact that someone like that is out there, in an area where other people could easily cross paths with him without any warning. As Tate points out toward the end, if it had been someone else out there, especially kids, or people who weren't prepared for something like that, the outcome could have been very different. And that lingering possibility is what turns this from just a strange encounter into something genuinely unsettling. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.